Question number 1 is thus. It's not exactly a fun question. Should everyone online on like social media companies be forced to reveal their true identities, or is anonymity too big of a deal?
I'll take this one first. I absolutely do not think people should be forced to reveal their true identities. I am sympathetic to why Jordan Peterson takes this position as someone that is, obviously he's at a different level than us, but as someone who is accosted, confronted, smeared by, anonymous avatars and hordes of, who knows if they're humans or bots online every day. I can't even imagine what somebody like the profile of a Peterson puts up with. There is something uniquely masculine about like, come at me. Who am I really talking to here? Right? Okay. I get that. Okay. In another era, if we were the people that put our kids on the jungle gyms that we were talking about an hour ago, if we were still those people, then I would completely agree with Jordan Peterson. We're not. And right now we are in an era where an unduly amount of power is wielded by dweebs and mom's basement dwellers and that control ESG scores and social media profiles and have algorithms to determine what news does or does not get heard by others. When the flow of information in a society is corrupted, I mean, have you guys seen what's going on with Twitter?
Yeah.
People are posting in the last 48 hours the difference in reach they're getting on their accounts when they go private compared to what they are. That thing is so broken. We talked about this the other day on Fake News or Not, and he said to Dave Rubin he may have to scrap the whole code and start over. He's going to have to scrap the whole code and start over.
Do you remember the publication called The Stream?
Yeah.
I forgot they existed until I saw they locked their account yesterday.
And you started seeing their tweets.
Yeah.
I see people's stuff all the time. I'm like, we used to have these people on like constantly. I forgot they existed, just like you said about the stream, right? So when you are in that kind of an era where the flow of information in and of itself now is an instrument and weapon of the spirit of the age, then that's when Sir Thomas More writes Utopia under a pen name. Okay, that's when a certain level of camouflage is required to deliver bullets of truth. Otherwise, they don't even don't even get to the arena. You're not on the battlefield. You're not under consideration at all. So I would prefer that we were a society that dealt with things the way that Jordan Peterson wants us to. We are not. And we don't, and it's those of us that want that society, by the way, if you're watching, and I'm sure you are. I'm kidding. Jordan, those of us like you who want that society, as you learned, you got banned from Twitter, brother. We're not the ones that have any control or say right now in the flow of information, right? That's the whole Steven Crowder Daily Wire argument. In essence, that's their argument with one another, is we want to monetize your show, but to do that, we have to use platforms that hate us, but you don't want to play ball with any of the platforms that hate us, so we don't know how to monetize your show. I mean, in general, that's the debate between the two that they had a couple of weeks ago, that debate. And that is a challenge we face comprehensively everywhere. I mean, I'm sitting next to a guy here who just accurately posted on his Twitter account what was going on in his school district with his public servants and had the police visit his home. True?
Yeah, they came to visit me at school.
At school, I'm sorry.
At an event, yeah.
Okay. That followed you around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so we don't have a law of the jungle anymore, Jordan, and those who want this. We don't. We need to bring it back. I'm all for bringing it back. It's the old line from the great prophet Ice-T. Twitter has made people think they can get away with saying stuff that in the past they would have gotten punched in the mouth for. I will affirm that homily.
Yes.
Correct. Yes. We would like to, everyone on this show, all in favor of returning to said era, say aye.
Yes.
We're all in favor? The ayes have it. Okay. Are we yet in that era, though? No. And I don't think we can get back to that era without providing some level of anonymity for people, given how deep the rabbit hole goes. But I will also say this. Just like I think a lot of pastors use the Johnson Amendment as a fig leaf excuse to not do their jobs from the pulpit. Well, I don't want to have my tax exempt status, and like almost no one ever has. It's a scam. It's not a real. Is the Johnson Amendment real? Yes. Have there been people that have lost their tax exempt status by violating it? Yes. Is it the systemic specter that hunts us down at every corner? Is it that? No. I do think there's a lot of us that could take stands where we are, but we're not willing to face any level of recourse or blowback whatsoever. And so we use the reality of the culture in which we live to not fully take the stand that would be the most useful and successful in that situation.
Yeah, I'm of the opposite opinion. And I know Oron McIntyre agrees with Steve, and we all respect him immensely. But for me, it's about get busy living or get busy dying. Yes. It's not just Twitter. And it's not just about, it's the monsters and the weasels on Twitter. I get that. But there's a lot of people on our side that are anonymous on Twitter. Your anonymous Twitter account is never going to do jack. And more than that, if you have an anonymous Twitter account, even though, again, this is what with Shane and Joy, when I was trying to look at the polling, what people think. There's a lot of people, I'll answer the poll in an orthodox fashion. I will tweet in an orthodox fashion anonymously. It must be incarnate. I need to know that you're the person in your backyard who's not letting this Moms of Liberty gal just do it on their own and the moms. I need to know that you're the dude going down there and getting it done everywhere. And I think if you're prone to being anonymous on Twitter, you're probably prone to be anonymous and way too comfortable everywhere else. Also, and this is a point Steve's many other times, we're losing to the biggest bunch of dweebs in the history of mankind because we're just afraid to get some dirt under our fingernails. The definition of a man, one of the important definitions of a man would be like in the scrum. That's how you test yourself. These days, honestly, I've met them all over the place. Soccer sidelines, everywhere. It's the opposite. Soft tones, avoid controversy, don't rock the boat. It's disgusting. It's appalling. I reject it all on a visceral level. And it's just a base level of accountability. There's one place in the American experience where, for various reasons, you should have a level of public square anonymity, and that is the vote. Other than that, this is making it's part why social media is warping our children's minds, because they think they're having an organic experience somehow, that's actually a person, but it's so coiffed, it's so filtered, it ends up being anonymous because it's just not even real. I would have no problem taking away, even though there are legitimate concerns, that I would err on the other side without missing a beat.
I agree with every word you just said. I don't disagree with it all. Yeah. To me, though, the math is if I get one Oron McIntyre, one Sir Thomas More, one El Gato Malo, one ethical skeptic, okay, that I will trade that, because that may be the only way I can get them and their information into the ether is via that vehicle. But I agree with every word you just said.
See, I'm of the mind we are already on borrowed time. The Elon Musk thing, it's a boon for freedom of information, but as we just discussed, Twitter is broken. I mean, it's just busted right now. And so to me, because the censorship and because like the ending up where we are right now of basically we are on the road to an information dark ages or a technocratic dark age, what I think we're going there regardless of whether people are anonymous or not. So I'm of the mind of Todd. Let's get busy or get busy living or get busy dying. And to me, it just comes down to a preference. All of these people who just enjoy their anonymity, if you're coming at us, I'd rather know who you actually are. And if you don't really have the stones to do anything outside of Twitter in real life, then I mean, there's no point in you being and posting on social media at all. So to me, I think we're already heading to the technocratic dark ages. So let's, it's my preference then to actually know who's on there. If this was buy, sell, or hold a few months ago, I was kind of a hold on this, but I'm more in mind with Todd now.
This is my here. This is a guy who follows us. I respect a lot of his points. He's in Night Corps. So you're going to get. So does that mean the founding fathers that wrote the Federalist Papers were wussies? Come on, Todd. Listen, that is so lacking in context of why they did that. There was a style of the time. It was a way of doing things. It wasn't purely because they were scared to have their names. It was pretty
Night
well
Court,
known on who did.
Man, and you just compared the founding fathers to 69Me on Twitter.
Yes, and that's the other point I'm going to make. Yes. Lives, fortune, sacred honor, ultimately real death on the line. They're like, here I am. I could say no. Like, I just don't. What are you really worried about losing? At the end of the day, that's what this is really about. What are you really worried about losing? And every time you say, I've just got too much to risk, you're giving them more power. The biggest dweebs in history. You're not the founding father. You're just a guy on Twitter. And you got to be anonymous there. I don't accept it on any level. Really. Tell me, tweet me right now. Anonymously, that's fine. What are you protecting? What are you worried about? Is it a hanging tree? Is it Mad King George? What are you worried about? I've tried, and you know where I was speaking. Steve's right. I've had the cops following me around. I've got cease and desist letters just to try to scare me. They're not going to follow through on it. At some point, stop being afraid of your own damn shadow. If you are, you're going to have this all taken away from you.